feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign.
Welcome, Jikookers. Today we are back to discussing the sweet moments of Jungkook and Jimin. Camera highlights or scenes that are intentionally shown, but fleeting moments that are almost missed. A small smile, a warm gaze, or a spontaneous gesture that feels so sincere. Jikook finds each other at first sight, starts laughing together, in their own little world, as if Namjoon isn't there, and then in Butter, Jungkook looks directly at Jimin, maintaining his gaze, teasing. And here's a warning for anyone who still insists on comparing. Jungkook does like to joke with all the members. Yes, light, chaotic, like brother, but with Jimin, different. It's not just joking. It's an exchange, it's intention, it's more intimate, the energy of the couple, on a level that doesn't even feel like a friendship anymore. But the impact is long in the memories of the army. Amidst the crowd of the stage, the spotlight of the lights, and the precise choreography, there are small moments that actually feel the most real. When the world sees the performance, it is like they are just looking at each other. The gaze was not just a coincidence of the camera. There was a pause, there was a smile that appeared uncontrived, there was laughter that flowed as if they were sharing a secret joke that no one else needed to understand. In the midst of all the hustle and bustle, they seemed to be in a different space, calm, warm, and familiar. And when the song Butter played, the moment felt even clearer. Jungkook didn't just look at Jimin, but actually held his gaze, as if he wanted to make sure the message was conveyed without words. Jimin replied with an equally gentle expression, as if he understood the silent language. This is what often makes many fans feel like there's a unique dynamic between them. It's not because of excessive interaction, but rather because of the little things that are hard to explain, the way they pay attention to each other, the timing that is always in sync, and the comfort that seems so natural. In the end, it may not be a matter of comparing Jungkook's interactions with other members. Every relationship in the group certainly has its own color. However, moments like this make many people feel that their bond has its own nuances. Deeper, more personal, and always manages to steal the spotlight without the need for a lot of effort. That feeling gets stronger when we start to realize that this kind of pattern doesn't just happen once. On various occasions, both on stage and behind the scenes, there is a consistent little continuity. Looking at each other with the eyes, standing unconsciously at the same distance, and smiling before the words are even spoken. It is as if there is a long-established habit, a reflex that arises not because the camera is highlighting, but because of an ingrained comfort. They don't need to be overly close to be seen. It is precisely in the simplest gestures that the closeness is most obvious. What makes these moments feel special is the naturalness. Nothing seems forced. Nothing feels like fan service. Everything seems to flow just like that, like two people who already understand each other's rhythm very well. And perhaps that's where the appeal lies for many fans. Not in what they say, but in what they don't have to say. In body language that speaks louder than any dialogue. Every glance, a small smile, or a brief laugh is like a piece of the puzzle that slowly forms a bigger picture. A picture of a bond that grows over time, experience, and long togetherness. Because in the end, it's not the big moments that impress people. It's precisely the small details that are repetitive, that are present consistently, that make many people feel there's something special there. If you look further, moments like this often appear precisely when no one is really looking. Not when the camera deliberately highlights, not when they are in the middle of the main formation, but on the sidelines of transitions, in moments that are usually missed. That's where many fans feel like they're seeing the most honest side. The brief glance between Jungkook and Jimin, the smile that appeared without warning, or the way they seemed to always seem aware of each other's existence, gave the impression that there was a closeness that was very familiar. Like two people who no longer need to search, because they already know exactly where the other is. Even when among the other members, including Namjoon, that little dynamic was still felt. Not to say ignoring the others, but there was a kind of subtle focus that was hard to describe in words. A focus that came naturally, unintentionally. And perhaps this is what keeps many people paying attention. Because what is visible is not something big or dramatic, but rather a small consistency that repeats over time. Simple things that if they stand alone may seem ordinary, but when put together, form an interesting pattern to observe. Ultimately, everyone can interpret these moments in a different way. But one thing is often agreed upon: there is a very real comfort between them. The comfort is evident in the way they laugh, the way they look at each other, and the way they share space without awkwardness. And it is precisely from there that these little stories continue to live on in the minds of fans. Not because of the sensation, but because of the warmth that feels sincere. The longer it is observed, the more it is felt that what makes these moments memorable is not their duration, but their meaning. Just a few seconds, but it is enough to leave a lasting impression in the memories of fans. There is a certain quality in Jungkook and Jimin's interaction that is difficult to explain logically. It is not something that can be measured, nor is it something that can be proven in words. But it is evident through the expressions, body language, and rhythm of togetherness that seems so harmonious. They seem to have a silent understanding, a silent communication that can only be understood by two people who have been walking side by side for a long time. And in the midst of the crowd of the stage, that understanding actually looks more and more contrasting. For many fans, this is what keeps the moment talked about. Not because I want to exaggerate, but because that little warmth feels so real. It looks simple, yet touching. In the end, it may not be about what each look or smile means. Rather, it's about how those small moments are able to bring a sense of comfort to anyone who witnesses them. The sense that in the midst of a busy schedule, camera spotlight, and the pressure of being a world idol, there is still a small space where two best friends can share a laugh so sincerely. Thanks for watching till the end, Jikook lovers. If you also feel that Jungkook and Taehyung really gave an amazing performance, don't forget to support this video by liking, commenting, and subscribing. Let us know in the comments which moments of appearance from the Face era gave you goosebumps. See you in the next video.